Sometimes, the moment that changes your life doesn't come with thunder or lightning. It comes quietly, in a single afternoon, in a single conversation that makes you see the world differently. This is the story of Clara Dawson, a woman who thought she had everything figured out, until one ordinary day, life taught her what truly matters. Clara lived in a quiet coastal town in southern England, a place where seagulls cried over the waves and the air always smelled like salt and rain. She was 32, a graphic designer, known for her perfect work and her even more perfect life. Her friends often said, "Clara's got it all, the nice job, the cozy apartment, the shiny car." But what they didn't see was how tired she was. Every day felt the same. Deadlines, phone calls, more deadlines. Her eyes were always on her screen, her heart somewhere far behind. She used to dream once of painting, of traveling, of just living. But those dreams had quietly faded behind the glow of her computer screen. One cold November morning, Clara's company announced a mandatory community day. Every employee had to spend one afternoon volunteering at a local care home for the elderly. Clara rolled her eyes when she heard it. "Seriously?" she whispered to her coworker. "We have so much work this week. How is painting walls going to help?" But she didn't have a choice. So that Friday, she drove to the Rosewood Home, a quiet red brick building sitting by the edge of town. When she walked in, the air smelled like old books and lavender. Elderly people sat by the windows, some reading, some just staring outside. Clara smiled politely, trying to look busy. She just wanted the hours to pass. That's when one of the nurses said, "Clara, could you spend some time with Mrs. Eldon? She doesn't get many visitors." Clara nodded, reluctantly, and walked down the corridor to a small room with lace curtains. Inside, an old woman sat by the window. Her hair was silver white, her hands trembling slightly as she held a photo frame. "Hello," she said softly. "I'm Clara. I'm here to help out today." The woman looked up and smiled. The kind of smile that felt warm even in silence. "Ah," she said gently, "it's nice to have company. I'm Margaret Alden." Clara noticed the photograph in her hands, a black and white picture of a young couple standing beside a bicycle. "Is that you?" she asked. Margaret nodded. "That was me and my husband William, 60 years ago." Clara smiled politely again, unsure what to say. Margaret chuckled softly. "You're busy, aren't you? You have that look, like the world's running and you're trying to keep up." Clara blinked. "Maybe," she said. "There's always something to do, you know? Work, meetings, goals." Margaret turned to the window, her voice quiet. "I used to be like that, always rushing. I thought, if I worked hard enough, I could make time later." There was a pause. Clara tilted her head. "Did you?" Margaret smiled sadly. "No, dear. Time doesn't wait. It only moves forward." Her words hung in the air like soft rain. They talked for hours that day. Margaret told her about her younger days, how she and her husband ran a small bakery, how they worked early mornings 7 days a week, dreaming that one day they'd finally take a holiday. But life kept getting busier. Bills came, then illnesses, then more responsibilities, and when they finally had enough money and time, her husband passed away suddenly. Clara's chest tightened. She didn't know what to say. Margaret looked down at the photograph again and whispered, I spent so many years chasing after tomorrow that I forgot to love today. Clara's chest closed up. It was as if Margaret's words pierced right through her. She thought of her own life, the missed dinners, the ignored calls from her parents, the paintings she never finished because she was too busy. For the first time in a long time, she felt something stir inside her, a quiet ache, mixed with realization. When it was time to leave, Clara stood by the door. Margaret reached out, holding her hand gently. She said, Promise me something. When you go home tonight, don't open your laptop right away. Go outside. Look at the sky. Breathe. Remember that life is not a list to complete. It's a moment to live. Clara nodded, eyes glistening. I promise, she whispered. That evening, as she drove home, the sun was setting over the cliffs. She pulled her car over and just watched. The sea shimmered gold. The wind carried the scent of salt and grass. She realized she hadn't truly looked at a sunset in years. And in that moment, she cried. Quietly. Freely. Not because she was sad, but because she finally felt alive. A week later, Clara went back to the Rosewood home. Margaret was gone. She had passed away peacefully in her sleep. But on her bedside table was a note written in shaky handwriting. To Clara. Thank you for listening. Remember to live your life wide open. Love deeply, laugh loudly, and never wait for someday. God bless you. Tears rolled down Clara's face as she read those words. That day, she made a choice. She quit the extra project she didn't care about. She started painting again, just for herself. She visited her parents, called her friends, took long walks by the sea. She wasn't running anymore. She was living. Sometimes it takes just one person, one conversation, to wake you up from the life you're sleepwalking through. Margaret taught Clara something many of us forget. Success means nothing if you don't have peace in your heart. Because in the end, it's not the things we own that matter. It's the moments we live, the people we love, and the memories we make along the way. So tonight, before you rush to the next thing, stop. Look around. Breathe. And ask yourself, are you living or just existing?